Beneath the neon lights and milkshakes, Riverdale wasn't just a town. It was a pressure cooker of secrets, scandals, and some serious teenage heartbreak. You're looking at a modern primetime soap that dressed itself up as a comic book noir. So let's dive into the world that turned good old Archie and his friends into the most dramatic teens on television.
Okay, so if you grew up reading Archie comics, I need you to forget pretty much everything you thought you knew. The jump from the page to the screen wasn't just a change, it was a radical transformation. In this breakdown, we're going to explore just how that wholesome, squeaky clean world got reimagined into this dark, complex, and honestly, often bizarre television phenomenon.
So how did it all start? Well, it wasn't with a shared milkshake at Pop's. It was with a murder. Right from the very first episode, the show sets this dark, brooding tone. It was clearly inspired by mysteries like Twin Peaks, and it felt like the creators wanted to intentionally shatter that clean comic book image from day one.
That first season, it was all built around one single crime, the murder of high schooler Jason Blossom. And this wasn't just some random plot device. No, this was the catalyst. It's what pushed Archie, Betty, Veronica, and Jughead to become these amateur detectives. And in the process, they started peeling back the layers of their seemingly perfect town, only to find all the darkness that was lurking right underneath.
But, beyond the whole mystery aspect, the real engine of the show was pure, high-stakes, primetime soap opera. That's really where the story found its heartbeat. It was all about the drama between the kids, their parents, and the town's super twisted history.
And the characters, oh my God, they were completely reinvented. Archie Andrews, the all-American boy next door, he became an army sergeant who was literally invulnerable. Betty Cooper, the sweet girl next door, now she's an FBI agent with a serious dark side. Veronica Lodge went from rich best friend to a Wall Street-level mogul with a poisonous touch. And Jughead, the quirky, burger-loving outcast, he's now a gang leader and a mind-reading novelist. We are not talking about small updates here, people. These were total transformations.
And when I say soap opera, I mean the show's DNA was pure soap. It embraced every single trope in the book. You had the epic love triangles. You had bitter family feuds. You had long-lost relatives showing up out of nowhere. And of course, you had Veronica's dad, Hiram Lodge, this ruthless gangster running his entire criminal empire right from the middle of town. This was melodrama dialed up to 11.
So, if the first few seasons were a noir soap opera, what came next was a complete and absolutely glorious dive into the absurd. The show didn't just bend reality, it completely shattered it.
It was like the writer's room just decided to lean into the chaos, They kept embracing more and more outlandish storylines, and it turned the show from a guilty pleasure into a viral sensation. And it left everyone watching asking the exact same question.
The series basically evolved from a teen drama into this Frankenstein's monster of genres. Seriously, there were alternate universes like Riverdale. There was actual time travel. And then boom, characters started getting superpowers. And somehow, between all of that, they still found time for full-blown musical episodes.
I mean, just listen to this madness. Archie survives a bomb and becomes invulnerable. Veronica's kiss becomes literally toxic. Jughead can read minds. Cheryl Blossom finds out she's a witch who can control fire. And Tabitha Tate, well, she's a time-traveling guardian angel. Of course she is. These weren't just plot twists. They were fundamental shifts in reality. It was a signal that the show had fully committed to its own brand of glorious comic book chaos. So after all that, what is the legacy of a show that so boldly and so beautifully flew right off the rails? And maybe more importantly, why did we all keep watching?
The answer, really, can be summed up in one perfect word: camp. Critics and fans pretty much all agree that Riverdale became this unending parade of camp. It took itself just seriously enough to make the absurd feel dramatic, and that delicate balance is what made it endlessly entertaining.
And you can actually see how this all played out in the viewership numbers. The show definitely peaked in its earlier, more grounded seasons. But as it dove headfirst into chaos, it created this fiercely loyal, even if it was smaller, core audience. So yeah, it left some fans totally obsessed and others completely confused, but you know what? No one could ever say it was boring.
And for its grand finale, of course, the show did the most Riverdale thing possible. It completely reinvented itself one last time. The final season just sends all the characters back to the 1950s, the wholesome era of the original comics, for one last, strange, and actually surprisingly heartfelt farewell.
It just proved its commitment to bold reinvention right up until the very end.
Of course, a huge part of its legacy was born online. The show became an absolute meme machine. Its most dramatic, most out-of-context clips just went viral constantly. And it created this feedback loop where the public's perception of Riverdale was defined by its most absurd moments. It kind of turned what could have been ridicule into a badge of honor.
And nothing, I mean nothing, captures that better than one single iconic line. You know the one. It was delivered by Archie with such complete, unwavering earnestness, and it perfectly sums up the show's unique blend of high-stakes drama and unintentional comedy that made it such a cultural touchstone.
So, in the end, Riverdale's legacy really is its fearlessness. It was absolutely willing to be anything and everything. A noir mystery, a teen soap, a superhero epic, a musical. And that's what cemented its strange, chaotic, and truly unforgettable place in television history.
And tell me, what wild soap should we explore next?